Hi, happy June everyone. Welcome back to our channel. Today we're going to walk through another hour-long yoga flow. Today again is going to be the pose of the month as we're going to work towards, So if you are a part of our monthly newsletters, you know that the peak pose of the month is one hand to big toe. So we're going to work on that today. Before we get started, make sure you find a space you feel comfortable in. You have some kind of yoga mat to practice upon. I would highly recommend a strap. If you don't have a yoga strap, you can use the strap that you may use around your yoga mat or a long beach towel, something to just kind of help extend the length of your arms. I would then also recommend blocks. Towards the end, we're going to do some supported bridges. So anything to kind of put underneath that low back and those glutes to help keep those hips lifted. So if you have some firm pillows, firm blankets rather than blocks, feel free to grab those. So today we are going to be focusing on our ankle and foot flexibility and stability. We're going to be focusing on our balance, which is both the ankles and the core stability. We're going to go through some tips and tricks on how to properly balance to help ourselves. And then obviously we're going to stretch and open up those hips and those hamstrings. So to start, go ahead and come to a comfortable seated position on your mat. You can sit however you choose, that feels the most comfortable. You're going to press those sit bones into the floor, reach that head towards the ceiling, feel those ears pull up and away from those shoulders, that neck get nice and long. You're going to pull that core in. To do that, you're going to pull the belly button up to the spine and back. You're also going to get that tight, dense feeling. Sunny, come here. Excuse my little assistant. You're going to tighten that core so that you feel like you're about to sneeze. If you get a lower rib flare like I do, right, your ribs kind of pop out when you engage those core muscles, you're going to sew them shut like a corset, but from the front. This may put some weight or some tension, uncomfortability on those hip flexors. Just place the hands on the knees and lift the chest up to the sky without opening those ribs. We're going to inhale the shoulders to the ears. Exhale, roll them back and down. Pause. Keeping those shoulders down, core nice and tight. Find that strong, still, comfortable seat. And start to just find your natural breath. Notice the length of the inhale versus the exhale. What part of your ribs or belly expand and contract. We want to keep those shoulders back and down, but they will rise and fall with the breath, so maybe take note of how far they come up and the sensation of them coming back down. If you're like myself today, practicing out in the very rare but exciting rainy Arizona weather, feel the winds or the water on the skin. And start to notice how you feel. This can be physically, mentally, emotionally. Our yoga practice is our time to turn inward. We use these asana and these poses to help better turn ourselves inward and more attuned to ourselves. So start to cut those strings to conversations, to-do lists, things you were doing around the house before we started. And start to give yourself that gift of this hour of just me time. We're just going to think about ourselves, notice how we feel in our body. Nothing that's going to come up in today's class is wrong. We're going to acknowledge all of it, embrace all of it, be kind to it. Our peak pose this month can be challenging because it's not just the flexibility of the hamstrings and the hip, but you're adding that balance component. And a lot of times those separately or alone are really difficult for people. So you may be really flexible in the hamstrings or really good with balance, but the chances are the other half is a little difficult. So start to give yourself that grace, give yourself that permission to be kind to yourself today. Take one more breath. I'm gonna do 3 breaths with shoulder rolls. We're gonna inhale those shoulders up to the ears. Sit up nice and tall. Make sure that core is nice and tight still. Exhale, roll them really far back and down. Inhale them forward and up. Exhale them back and down. Last one, keep those ribs stitched together. Head reaching towards the ceiling or the sky. Inhale it up. Exhale them back and down. When you're ready, you can open your eyes. We're gonna come to a straddle on our mat. And you're gonna go ahead and grab your strap or strap-like item. So your straddle can be as wide or as close as you'd like. To start, we're gonna think of tucking the tailbone, almost like in a cat-cow. And then we're going to stick that tailbone out. You'll get a nice stretch in the groin, inner thighs. Again, tuck that tailbone, just getting some movement, warming up the hips. Stick that tailbone out, chest forward. Last one, tuck it under. And press it out. This time, pause. Feel free to wiggle around in your seat, get nice and comfortable. We're gonna grab those straps, and we're gonna start with doing some side stretching before we come to a fold. So we're gonna take the strap around the ball of the foot, so not the toes, and we'd wanna keep it off of the arch of the foot. There's a lot of sensitive nerves in there, so just that really meaty part underneath the toes. We're gonna take both straps into that right hand and pull on that strap to help flex that right foot. Maybe the heel comes off, maybe part of the calf comes off. We're gonna sit up nice and tall. Make sure we really push that left hip into the mat. We're gonna inhale that left arm up. See how long we can get from those fingertips to the hip. Now we don't wanna reach it up so high that the shoulder is at the ear. We wanna keep those shoulders down and think of separating the hip from the ribs. You're lifting your torso up. Exhale, reach towards that right foot. Keep pulling on that strap, flex that foot. If you are someone who can get that elbow onto the inside, go ahead and use that as leverage. Press into that knee, open that chest up, look up towards the ceiling. Make sure that left hip stays nice and rooted, that right foot is being flexed, and you're reaching that hand overhead. Great side body stretch. You should be feeling a nice stretch. It could be anywhere on the hamstring or the inner thigh of that right leg. You can be feeling it at any point on the left glute, left low back, left ribs. One more breath here. Keep that belly pulled in, shoulders pulled away from the ears. Inhale. Exhale, come on up. We're gonna square our shoulders off towards that right foot so that our chest is pointing down at the knee. We're gonna take a strap in each hand. Same thing, we're gonna flex that foot nice and tall, right? We're going to try and sit nice and tall to the point where when we fold forward, we're not gonna think of rounding, we're gonna think we're doing a row at the gym, right? So our full head to tailbone is one nice long plank of wood. We're gonna take a big inhale. Exhale, bend those elbows, pull those triceps back to the spine. Come to where you're comfortable. Keep on those straps. Think of reaching the chest towards the toes, sticking that tailbone out behind you. Get a nice long spine. Now that right shoulder that's behind us, we're gonna pull it up. We're gonna drop the left shoulder, try and square those shoulders off. Big inhale. Exhale, maybe we reach that chest forward more, hinge more at that right hip. One more breath here. From here, we're gonna keep our chest nice and low. We're just gonna take the straps both into the right hand. We're gonna walk our chest inward so that rather than the knee being in the center of the breastbone, we're gonna take the right shoulder to the inside, right? So go ahead and shift inward. Maybe you can place that right hand down on the floor, maybe the forearm. You have blocks or pillows, things like that nearby. Get a deeper stretch in that inner thigh. Still stick that tailbone out, reach that chest out in front of you. Flex that right foot, pull the belly in. One more breath here. Inhale, come back over center. Exhale, come on up, release that foot. Flex and point the ankle if that feels good to you. Other side, we're gonna take the straps around that left ball of the foot. Take both straps into the left hand. We're gonna sit up nice and tall. Right hip is gonna stay glued to the mat. We're gonna inhale that right arm up, keeping the shoulder back and down, reaching the ribs up, fingertips up, head and chin up. Exhale, hinge. Walk those hands up the strap if you need. While keeping that right hip glued, belly pulled in, stick that tailbone out, chest is pressed forward, head is pressed towards that left foot is flexed because you're pulling on those straps. If that elbow's on the inside, press on that elbow to help open you up. Again, you may feel this stretch in that left hamstring and left inner thigh / groin. You may feel a deeper stretch in the right hip and low back. It just depends on where you're tight today. There's no right or wrong way to feel it. A lot of asana in yoga targets a lot of different parts of the body. So even, for example, down dog, it is a back stretcher. But most people have really tight hamstrings, so you feel it more in your hamstrings. Not right or wrong. You're just tighter there. One more breath here. Big inhale. Exhale, come on up. Turn towards that left foot, a strap in each hand. We're gonna square off with that knee. Take a nice big inhale, stick the tailbone out. As we hinge, we're gonna pull those elbows back. Exhale it out, reach the chest towards those toes. Try and get as long of a spine as you can. A big part of the spine that I notice we forget a lot, and we'll have to do another spine specific class here in the future, but a lot of us see the spine as the tailbone to about C7, right? That big bone at the base of the neck, right at the top of the back, and a lot of us then drop the head. The spine goes all the way up to the skull. So we want to make sure we have a straight line. If someone drilled a hole right through the top of the head, it would go right out our tailbone. So look at the toes, pull those toes back, pull the belly in. Drop that right front shoulder, pull that back left shoulder back. Square them off. Last breath. Inhale, take both straps into the left hand. Exhale, shift your weight in front of that left leg. Maybe you can walk the elbows and hinge. Keep pulling that foot back. Your back is nice and engaged on that left side. Big inhale. Last exhale it out. Inhale, come back over center. Exhale, come on up. Awesome, go ahead and throw those to the side. Now we're gonna fold forward pancake style. There's two ways you can do this depending on what feels best for your hips. You can walk the hands out manually if you wanna place weight on something. If you would like to take it a step further, flex those feet, take those hands out in front of you, sit nice and tall, stick that tailbone out. We're gonna inhale, reach the head towards the sky. Exhale, we're gonna reach our chest and hands forward like we're giving a gift to somebody. Slow, inhale it up. Exhale, reach it forward. And up. Last one, reach it forward. When you get to your max, go ahead and drop those hands down if you haven't already. Pause, flex those feet, pull that belly button to the spine, roll those shoulders back. Stick the chest out in front of you, stick that tailbone out behind you. Maybe lower one more time, one more breath. Inhale, use those hands, come on up. Good job. We're gonna place the hands underneath the kneecaps. Help bring those legs back in. We really stretched out those inner thighs, so we don't wanna hurt ourselves. You'll stay facing forward on your mat, but I'm gonna turn to the side so you guys can see me better. We're gonna sit nice and tall. If it feels better for you to sit up on a blanket or on a block so you can help get that tilt in the pelvis, you are more than welcome to. We're gonna take those straps and place it around the ball of the feet again. Make sure those feet are hip width apart. And you're gonna push your pinky toe into those straps. If not, we tend to kind of get all wonky in the ankles and the feet. And we wanna work on that ankle stability, okay? So we're gonna push the pinky toes into the strap, sit up nice and tall. Same as what we did before, you're gonna act like you're doing a row. Nice big inhale. Exhale, think of reaching the chest past the toes as you pull those elbows and triceps back. You're not gonna fold as far forward as you're used to. We're really trying to force that fold into the hip, taking the spine out of the equation. Keep reaching the chest past the toes. Pull that belly in, reach that head to the sky. Shoulders are nice and strong, pulled back. Look out past those toes, one more breath. Big inhale. Exhale, slide it on up. Remove the straps. So we did flat back and flex. Now we're gonna point those toes. Inhale those arms up. Exhale, reach those hands as far forward, and then you can come down, round the spine if you'd like. You can place the hands on the thighs, the shins, the floor. You can place them on the feet, whatever feels best. Once you're there, you've got that nice round, press the chest forward, stick the tailbone out. One more breath. Big inhale. Exhale, slowly come up. As you come up, cross at the ankles, throw the weight forward. We're gonna come to our tabletop. We're gonna spread those hands, fingers nice and wide. In our in-person classes and privates, we've been working a lot on wrist pain. So if you're someone who feels a lot of pain in the wrist or pressure, we're gonna spread the fingers wide, place the fingertips down, then the fingers, the knuckles, palm, then wrist. You'll feel a nice deep stretch in the fingers, and you'll notice there's not as much weight on the wrists. Get those shoulders over the hands. We want to make sure the elbow creases are turned inward. Knees are under the hips, feet are hidden behind the knees. We're gonna pull that belly button up to the spine so those ribs shut, get a nice flat back. Keeping that core engaged, we're gonna inhale, drop the belly, lift the gaze, pull the shoulders back away from the ears. Exhale, we're gonna tuck the tailbone, press the mat away with the hands and the knees. Squeeze the abdominals. Inhale. Exhale. We're going to return to that neutral spine. We're going to take the right leg across the left. So it's going to feel funky, but it's essentially a figure four. So that right ankle is making contact with the top of the left thigh. Hands are still down. We're going to take 2 cat-cows here. They're not going to be as large as your traditional. So pull that belly button back up, shoulders back. Take an inhale, drop the belly, lift the gaze. Exhale, press it away. Squeeze those glutes. Inhale, drop the belly. Pull those shoulders away from the ears. Exhale, press the mat away. Make sure you're not hyperextending those elbows. Inhale, come back to center, switch sides. Take that right leg back, cross the left over. When you're ready, inhale. And exhale. Last one, inhale. And exhale. Inhale back to center, uncross, tuck those toes, press back, first down dog. Go ahead and walk it out. Lift the heels, bend and straight the knees. You can take the feet as wide as the mat if you'd like. Shake the hips side to side. Take a breath. While you're here though, we're gonna pull that belly button in, keep the ribs sewed together. We're gonna press into the mat. We're gonna push the mat away. The mat's not gonna push us away. When you're ready, take a nice big inhale. Bend the knees. Exhale, step or hop to the front of the mat. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, fold it out. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, place those hands, step back to your plank. Inhale, press that mat away. Exhale, bend the elbows. Elbows touch the ribs, chest touches the floor, then the pelvis. Come on up, cobra. Pelvis stays on the floor. Squeeze the ribs with the arms. Pull the shoulders back. Exhale, press the toes into the ground. Press back down dog. Inhale, bend the knees between the hands. Exhale, step or hop to the front of the mat. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come all the way up to standing. Exhale, fold it forward. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, place those hands, step back. Inhale. Exhale, lower. Inhale, cobra. On this time, rather than pressing back to down dog, we're gonna take the knees slightly wide, press up to our tabletop. We're gonna thread the needle. You're gonna place all the weight into that left hand. We're gonna inhale up that right arm. If this is too difficult, you take the hand behind the head. Exhale, thread it through, don't place the arm. Inhale it up. Think of pressing that right hip down. Exhale, send it through. Last one, inhale it up. Exhale, place that arm through. The left hand can come overhead. We're gonna pull the belly in. We're gonna push our weight into this left leg so that the hips shift back over the knees. If you're having a hard time getting the tops of your feet onto the mat, you're more like this, go ahead and shift your head a little bit towards the top of the mat. Get those hips back over the feet, or excuse me, the hips back over the knees so that you can get the tops of those feet down. Inhale that left hand to the face. Exhale, unthread. And place that arm down. Other side. Inhale that left arm up. Exhale it through. Inhale it up. Exhale it through. Last one, inhale it up. Exhale it down. Right arm comes overhead. We're gonna push our weight into that right hip. One more breath. Inhale the right hand to the face. Exhale, untwist. And place it back down. Tuck those toes, press up, down dog. One more sun salutation. Inhale, bend the knees between the hands. Exhale, step or hop to the front of the mat. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, place those hands, step back to your plank. Lower. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, press back, down dog. All right, let's get into the sequence. We're gonna inhale that right leg up, three-legged dog. Exhale, send it through center. We're gonna drop that back knee down. Now, if it feels best to place a blanket or fold your mat over, you can for that back knee. But the idea is we don't want to be directly on top of the kneecap. That's going to cause a lot of discomfort. We want to shift our weight forward so we're really on this meaty part of that low thigh right above the knee, right? So we're shifting that weight forward. We're going to keep those toes tucked in the back. Place those hands on the hips. Go ahead and square them off. I personally need to drop the right hip and pull it back. You may be different. Squeeze the quads, squeeze the glutes. Take a nice big inhale. Exhale, bend deeper in that front knee. Sit up nice and tall. Pull the ribs back. The higher up you can sit in that upper body while pushing that hip forward is going to deepen that hip flexor stretch. One more breath. Take a nice big inhale. Exhale, send the hips back, flex that front foot, half split. One more breath here. Inhale, we're gonna send that knee and hip forward again. Place the left hand down. If you need to place it on a block, you're welcome to. We're gonna keep pressing the hips forward, pulling that right knee forward. We're gonna inhale that right arm around and bend that back foot. Now, whether you touch that foot or not does not matter. It is better for the hip flexor to press forward with that knee bent and just reach for it than it is to pop the hips up and grab the foot, okay? So keep those hips low. If you can grab the foot, awesome. If not, it's okay. Just reach for it. Make sure you're not hyperextending that rooted left hand. One more breath. Big inhale. Exhale, send it back. One more time, half split. Tuck those back toes. We're gonna pop up into pyramid next, and there's two ways you can get into it. A lot of people have a specific preference. So if you like to just pop up from down low, we're gonna just press our weight forward, push into that right foot, pop that left foot halfway the distance, and reach the head forward. If that feels funky to you or you're not feeling a deep stretch in the hamstring, come on up, place those hands on the hips, pull the belly in. Think of reaching that chest forward. Reach forward, forward, forward. You're gonna notice that right hip feels like it's gonna pop out. Deep, 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 deep stretch in that hamstring. Place the hands on the thigh or the shin, some blocks if you have them nearby. You almost have such little weight in that back foot, you could pick it up. Pull that belly in, reach that head forward, pull the shoulders away from the ears. One more breath. Big inhale. Exhale, place those hands down, walk the legs back, down dog. Other side. Inhale up that left leg. Exhale, send it through. Place that left foot down, drop that right knee down, pop on up. Square those hips off as needed. Drop that left hip most likely. You might need to pull the left hip back. We're gonna keep those right toes tucked. Take a nice big inhale, sew the ribs back. Exhale, deep bend in that front knee. Squeeze those glutes. Maybe you inch that foot forward a little bit. Exhale, bend that knee a little deeper. Big inhale. Exhale, send the hips back, flex that front foot, keep those back right toes tucked. Think of sticking the tailbone out, reaching the chest forward. Force that hip and that hamstring to lengthen out. Don't let that back compensate. Inhale, reach back forward. We're gonna plant the right hand. We're going to inhale, come back. If you can grab the foot or the toes without lifting the hips, great. If not, keep pressing those hips forward, pushing that left knee forward. Just bend the knee and reach. Now a tendency is the hips get upset, that top front legs might want to fall open. Push that left big toe into the mat. Use that inner left thigh to hug in. Pull that belly in. Exhale, tuck the back toes. Send the hips back again. Flex that front foot. Now again, we're gonna come up into pyramid. So, personal preference. If you like to pop up, awesome. If you're someone who likes to come full stand and reach, personally, I feel like I get a deeper hamstring stretch with that. It's up to you. We're going to inhale, rebend into that front foot, press into that left foot, bring the right leg half the distance of what we were. If you're comfortable being here, go for it. If you want to come up, then reach the chest past the toes. Eventually it's going to force you to hinge. You'll get a nice stretch in that hamstring. Place the hands on the thigh, the shin, blocks. If you're super bendy in that hamstring, you can touch the floor, great, but we don't want to round in the back. That's going to release the glute muscle. We want to keep a nice flat back. Stick the tailbone out, reach the chest forward, squeeze those glutes. You can energetically reach for the floor. This is a pretty intense hamstring stretch. Again, not a lot of weight on that back foot. Squeeze those quads. This time we're going to inhale. Exhale, press off that back foot, come up to standing. Good job. We're gonna come into chair, big toes together, heels can be apart or together, personal preference. I personally don't like the feeling of my ankle joints rubbing together, so I keep them separate. Some people like them together, it's up to you. We're gonna take a nice big inhale, roll those shoulders back, reach the head nice and tall. Exhale, send the hips back as you lift the arms, bend the knees. Now, two things with chair. Chair's relatively simple in theory, but a lot of people struggle or are uncomfortable with it. The first is we tend to get this weird ski slope situation with our back, right? Almost like if any of you were in sororities, the classic teen girl pose, right? So we're gonna wanna sew those ribs back, tuck that tailbone. You're gonna feel the thighs fire up. This will let you bend the knees deeper. The second, and usually mostly with my men, the shoulders are a problem. They feel like they're kinked up down here because they're told the hands have to go over the head, but the shoulders don't let them go that far. So if you cannot open up with the arms up, that's okay. Bring the arms down to where you're comfortable, but still sit that chest up tall. We can always work on the mobility. I'll turn towards you guys. A lot of us are really tight. So gentlemen, for the most part, or anyone with shoulder mobility issues, if you feel like this is you, open that chest up, right? Get those collarbones nice and wide. If you can bring the arms up more into a Y, awesome. If not, keep them down. From here, we're going to inhale, press into that right leg, come to standing, hug that right leg in. Sorry, press into the left foot, pull the right leg up. Nothing crazy here, we just want to work on that balance. If you are someone who struggles with balance, feel free to pause me, bring us to a wall, or grab a pretty sturdy chair or table and unpause us, because for the next good section of class, we're going to be doing a lot of one leg balances, so just have that safety net nearby. Press into that standing leg, pull that right hip up. If this is too much, touch the toes down. How little weight can you get on that leg, right? From here, take a nice big inhale. Exhale, you're gonna send that right leg behind you. Reach that right leg as far back as you can. Drop that right hip. Reach the arms overhead. See how long you can get in this Superman pose, right? So that left leg is planted, the right leg is reaching really far back. Hands are reaching forward. If you start to feel wobbly, you can drop that back right foot, tuck the have the top of the toes touch, or pull the shoulders in, tighten the abdominals, drop that right hip, get nice and strong. Exhale, shake it out. Good job, guys. We're gonna go and break down the portions of balance, but we're just kind of playing with it right now. Start to notice how the ankle joints are rolling. We want to work on that ankle stability and strength. That's really important. This wobbliness, it's usually uncomfortable for people, but we have it because a lot of us wear shoes, a lot of great shoes with some great ankle stabilization and arch support, which is awesome, but we walk in them so much that as soon as we are no longer in them, our arch drops, our ankle doesn't know how to hold itself up. So those little wiggles help build that strength up, build that arch back up, so you have better balance moving forward. So, other side, chair pose, big toes together, personal preference on the heels. Take a nice big inhale, get nice and tall. Exhale, send it back. Pull those ribs back, tuck that tailbone. Lift the chest. Now, if the shoulders and arms come with, great. If not, no big deal. One more breath. Squeeze the glutes, squeeze the quads. The knees are together. We're going to inhale, press through the right foot, lift that left leg up, hug it in. As you exhale, you're going to send that left leg back. See how long you can get that leg. Like someone's pulling on that ankle behind you, trying to pull you back. Drop that left hip, arms out overhead. Squeeze that standing quad, squeeze that standing glute. Again, you can drop that back foot down. Or if you start feeling wobbly, pull the shoulders in, squeeze the abdominals, get nice and tight in a ball. Then you can just squeeze that left glute to lift that leg higher. Exhale, come back up, shake it out. Awesome. We're gonna come into tree. Tree is my favorite pose to teach balance in or gauge your ability for balance for today, because it's a relatively simple pose. A lot of people are comfortable with tree. We've been doing it since day one, right? There's not a lot of thought that we have to put in to figure out where does our foot go? Where does our hand go? Where are we looking? We know tree. So now we can kind of break down, and everything, the 3 steps here applies to any balance pose. Arm balance, inversions, you name it, okay? For today, our base is our lower body. Okay, our free space is our upper body. If you were in a headstand or some kind of inversion, it would be flipped. Your base is what's touching the ground, is what's rooting you. So we're gonna start on our left leg. Strong base. You're gonna hook that left pinky into the floor, pull the big toes far away as you can. You almost want like a really wide, flat, like ugly ogre foot, like Shrek would have. We're gonna squeeze that standing thigh, squeeze the standing glute. We wanna feel like a nice steel rod is through that leg. Nothing's taking that leg out from underneath us, okay? The second is connecting the free space with the base. That's your abdominals. It almost always will be, unless you start getting into some pretty advanced, funky, like arm balance, side balance things. But for the most part, it's your abdominals. We're gonna think of taking the hips and the low ribs closer together. On an exhale, everything's gonna tighten up. You're gonna feel the low belly pull up. Your obliques are gonna tighten up. Your low back is gonna tighten up. Nice and strong. There's literally no way you can make my abdominals wiggle right now. You have to physically move my hips, but because my glute is tight, my thigh is tight, it's my shoulders that's moving, right? So, nice and tight. The third is helping yourself find center in the free space. In a handstand, we squeeze the inner thighs together, finding middle. In this pose today, take your hands in prayer, dig them into your sternum, right? You're gonna get a kind of an uncomfortable pain. Tell your body where middle is. It's the best way to shock your body if you start to feel unstable. So you should feel pretty tired from how flexed and engaged you are right here. From that, if you are someone who needs a wall, a table, or a chair due to some kind of balance situation today, Make sure that stability is on your left side. Okay? For everyone else, and then you keep your right hand in the center. For everyone else, both hands are in the center. We're gonna bring that right leg underneath us. Big inhale. Exhale, lift that leg up. Make that hip flexor work. When you're ready, you'll grab the foot, place it. Now that thigh is really tight, so that foot can push into it, okay? The higher the foot, the farther out your knee is because you're doing the full length of your femur. That's gonna be harder counterbalance-wise. The lower the foot, the easier the balance because there's not something pulling you so far away. Once you're here, you can take, if you'd like, the left hand to the hip for counterbalance, keep the other one in the center. Or if you're feeling really stable, bring your arms out to where you're comfortable. Don't look at me because I'm gonna be moving. Arms out in tree, cactus, mountain pose. You can do eagle arms, interlace behind the back, whatever feels good. We're gonna squeeze that right glute. Use that abductor to pull that knee open, right? You may start to feel some wiggles in that left foot. The bottom of that left foot might start to cramp. That's good. That means your foot is really pulling. You're activating the arch in that foot, which is so good for anyone who has plantar fasciitis or foot pain, okay? Press that leg into that thigh. If you start to feel wobbly, press your hands back into center, find middle, breathe, calm. If at any point you fall out, don't pop back up. Go through all of the steps. Exhale, lower. One of my favorite things about the video yoga is you can pause, right? Like in a normal class, if you fall over, everyone else only has 3 breaths to do tree pose, and you may end up only having 1, just pause us. Jump back in when you feel like you've done a long enough stretch, okay? Other side, make sure you're stretching out that foot. On the right, hook that right pinky toe, spread it wide. Squeeze that quad, squeeze that glute. Stabilize the base. Next, we're gonna tighten and engage, connect the two. Hips to ribs. Third, find center in the free space. When you're ready, inhale up that leg. Exhale, if you want to use the hand to help place it, you can. Squeeze that right glute. Use that abductor to pull that hip open, that knee open. Press the chest forward. We're pressing that foot through the ground, just like when we were in down dog. The mat's not pushing us away. We're pushing the earth away. Okay, get nice and tall. Then bring your hands to whatever expression feels best. Exhale, shake it out. Hopefully that felt better. In my in-person classes, everyone's got rock solid tree when we break it down like that. So anytime you're going through any kind of balance in any class, in person, with any instructor, no instructor is going to get mad at you for pausing and getting those 3 building blocks, okay? Again, it works for any balance. Your base is what makes contact with the floor. Your free space is whatever's out there, right? Whatever's up or to the side, just hanging out in free space. And then the midsection, almost always, is the connector. Stabilize. So, awesome job. We're gonna start moving into our peak pose again. So, have those walls or those chairs nearby. If you have chairs or tables, great. Have one on each side so you're not playing this spin around game with the wall. So, to start, we're gonna go ahead and come to a balance with that left leg. Hook that left pinky toe, pull the left big toe away, plant that foot down, squeeze that quad, squeeze that glute, find center, tighten the abdominals, right? We're going to inhale up that knee, that right knee, hug it in. Now we already hugged the knee in earlier, but this time we're really gonna pull up, press that leg, feel yourself get maybe a ½ inch taller, flex that right foot. You're gonna feel more wobbly in that left knee. From there, find your balance. Have that wall or that chair on that left side if you need. Big inhale. Exhale, manually peel that hip open. Start playing with that counterbalance. You can place your hand on your hip. You can place that hand in the center. Whatever helps you find your balance. Squeeze that left quad, squeeze that left glute. Core is tight, shoulders are back. Exhale, bring it back to center. Cross it over to figure four. Makes a lot more sense why figure four is called that when you're in the standing position. Just like chair, we're gonna big inhale. Exhale, send the hips back, bend that knee. Single leg chair, figure four variation. You're not gonna sit back near as far as you would in chair or in figure four. Flex that right foot. Press that chest towards me, stick that tailbone out. Really fold in that hip. Let that left foot cramp up if it's cramping. One more breath. Inhale, standing. Exhale, shake it out. Good job. I go back and forth between telling people one last breath when we're balancing. I find when I say one more breath, all of a sudden everybody falls. But sometimes balances are a struggle and you're like, oh my God, is it one more breath? Because I could push through for one more breath. So we play around with it. Right side, we're gonna plant that left pinky toe, pull that right big toe, ogre foot, squeeze quad, squeeze glute. Strong base. Get your connector, tighten the abdominals, hips to ribs. Find your free space. When you're ready, foot underneath you, inhale it up. Hug it in, flex that left foot. Push that right foot through the earth. Feel yourself get a little taller. Pull those shoulder blades back, press the chest forward. When you're ready, pull that knee open. The right hand can come to the hip for counterbalance, a chair, a wall, it's up to you. Now really quick, a lot of us in this pose, if our hip is tight, we overextend the hip and we duck. We stick that glute out, tuck that tailbone under, get that foot under the knee. You may have to bring the knee in a little bit, but we want that hip down. Inhale, bring it back to center. Exhale, cross it over, figure four. Send those hips back. Flex that left foot. Big inhale. Exhale, press out of it. Shake that leg out. Let the abdomen kind of distend for a second. Grab your version of a strap. Now, if you're someone who struggles with the balance portion, we're gonna start with the strap on the ball of the foot already there. That's how I'm going to structure it on this side. If you're someone who the balance is not a problem, but your hamstrings are tight, your hips are tight, you can start with the strap off and you can hook it onto the foot once we get there. I'll show that on our left side. So to start, we're gonna hook that left pinky toe, pull the left toes wide, plant that ogre foot, squeeze the quad and, yep, the glute. We're gonna get our knee through the center of whatever you're using as a strap today. Okay, get it underneath you. Build that connector, hips to ribs. Find center with that left hand. We're gonna inhale up by bending that right knee. Get a good grab on the straps with that right hand. When you're ready, we're gonna open it up. The key here is a good counterbalance. So if you want, you can take the left hand to the hip. Exhale, send that leg out. Now notice with the strap, I'm not hanging out here in space all rounded. That's going to break my stack. I have my hand further down the strap. Elbow and tricep are to my ribs, right? My foot is not pulling my shoulder is pulling my foot, right? Now, if you're someone who has super flexible hamstrings, you don't need the strap. The name of the pose, one hand to big foot, one hand to big toe and stretch it out. 2 more breaths. Squeeze that standing quad, squeeze that standing glute. Tuck that tailbone. Same here, I'm pulling my shoulder back. Exhale, bend, find your balance. Inhale, bring it in, and drop. Good job. Shake it out. Not an easy pose. There's a lot going on. Balance, hamstrings, all the fun things. Shoulders. If you don't have shoulder problems, you got hip problems. It's always the thing. So, other side. I'm going to show the variation of hooking the strap onto the foot. Now again, if you want to play with this a couple more times, pause, play with it, and then unpause as we come back together. That right pinky toe hooks, spread that ogre foot wide, squeeze that right quad, squeeze that right glute. Underneath, get that foot underneath, hips to ribs, find center. This time you're gonna have to find center though with the opposite hand. You're gonna have a loop. As you inhale that foot up, you're going to loop it, come up. Then you'll switch hands. Open it up, send it out. Notice, keeping a bend in that elbow, pulling that shoulder back. I'm pressing that heel away from me. Press into that standing leg, get a strong quad, strong glute. Chest is forward. See if you can open that leg out wider. Maybe lift it up an inch. Exhale, rebend. Inhale, bring it to center and lower. Awesome job, guys. Hard peak pose this month, right? Shake it out. We're gonna come down to our figure four. You can do this seated, you can do this lying down. It's up to you. I prefer seated. It just feels better on my hip. I'm gonna show both ways because there's a couple things we wanna focus on. So we're gonna flex the right foot and cross it over the left. Regardless of if you're on your back or if you're seated, we're doing it this way. The reason is we wanna protect that knee, right? Press up. If you're seated, we don't wanna lock those elbows out. Bend the elbows. Look through your thighs. Is that foot in the middle of your groin? If so, walk that left foot out. Regardless of where you are, exhale, drop the bottom of the right foot to the ground. Inhale it up. Exhale, other side. Now if you're lying down, same thing, we want to flex this ankle. The reason is the hip is a big joint and it's not going to want to budge. So it's usually going to force the back to bend. If we're lying, already solved that problem. If we're seated, as you press that chest forward, it flattens the back. So the knee is what ends up giving. The knee is only supposed to hinge. This causes a twisting motion. We don't want that. So flexing that top ankle tightens up all the little muscles around the knee to protect it. One, to protect the knee, but two, to force that hip then to open up like we want. Now, if you're doing this lying down, you don't have to worry about hyperextending the elbows, but you do have to worry about the neck and the shoulders coming up. If this is you, this is not comfortable. Grab a strap, place it behind that hamstring. You want a nice relaxed spine. Again, like a row machine, pull those elbows back. Next, look up. Is that right knee over the groin? If so, pull it out towards the left, or excuse me, towards the right hip. Wherever you're at, seated or lying. If you're lying, you got to place that right foot back down first. We're all going to drop the left foot. And inhale it up. Uncross. Grab those blocks. We're going to go to our, or whatever you are using as blocks, we're coming to our supported bridge. So we'll all come down to our back. Plant the feet underneath us. We're going to get a nice long spine. Reach that head towards the back of the mat. Reach the tailbone out to the feet. We're going to take a nice big inhale. Exhale, we're going to think of rolling ourselves up. We're going to tilt the pelvis. The glutes come up, mid-back, ribs. Come to the height you're wanting to put some blocks. Now we put the blocks or the pillow at the firm part of the low back that connects with the glutes. From here, depending on how your low back and your hip flexors are, if you are somebody who has low back pain in the pinching variety or sciatica, you're staying here, you're pushing weight through those feet, okay? We don't want to pinch anything more until we fix that. Pull that belly button to the spine, sew the ribs shut. If you don't have any low back issues, there's no pinching as your day-to-day, you can straighten those legs out. Deepen that stretch in the hip flexors. Don't collapse in the low back. Press that chest over the chin, right? So personal preference. One more breath. Open the mouth, exhale it out. If your legs are straight out, go ahead and tuck those back underneath you. We're all gonna press up, remove those blocks, and we're gonna come down to our Shavasana. Legs out in front of you, arms down by your sides. If you have low back pain, lying flat on a harder surface, you can roll a blanket up or pillow and put it underneath your knees as you're lying. You can also take your blocks to the width of your mat and place a heel on each one so the feet are up to help flatten that low back. Wherever you're at, arms down by your side, take a nice big inhale. Exhale it out. Close those eyes. You've worked hard for this stillness. The goal of Shavasana is you did so much work. Begin to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Roll out the wrists, the ankles. Inhale, stretch those arms overhead. Nice full body stretch. When you're ready, roll to either side in the fetal position, pause for a breath, and then use your arms to press up to a comfortable seated position. Stay conscious of your breath. Come back to that proper seat. Press those sit bones into the floor. Head reaches towards the sky. Pull the belly in. Stitch those ribs together. Inhale those shoulders up. Exhale them back and down. Lift that chest to the sky. Find that breath. Big inhale through the nose. Exhale out the mouth. The light and the love inside of me honors and sees the light and the love inside of you. Therefore, we are one. Namaste. Thank you, everyone, for joining me today. Happy June. Thanks for sticking around in the rainy weather today. Hopefully your hips are feeling a little bit better. Your legs are feeling a little bit stronger. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. If you always like, subscribe, comment if you have questions so that you can see the next core class coming out in the middle of the month. It'll be a 15-minute core class. Thank you.